Hi, I am Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel. Don't forget to watch Evil Dead Chick on Deadites on Deck on YouTube. Oh, and subscribe, man!
Can't sleep, no matter how hard you try. The Sandman is hiding, he won't work his magic. What is the answer to the bill collector of rest, who has come calling on your past to account? You need an insomnia cure. Scan our shelves for just the right Coma tonic. Coma tonic. Nighty night, my sleep-deprived friend, drift off to dreamland, visit us again soon.
Howdy, gang, and welcome to yet another edition of Insomnia Cure. Here in a little bit, we're going to be covering films that I think would put you to sleep. Horror films, that is, from 1972 to 1973. And I know at least one of these is going to be, it's going to be a center of debate, I feel like. But, you know, a good, healthy debate is never a bad thing. So I may be the only person on the planet that dislikes this movie. So, but I may find that some of you guys and gals in here aren't too fond of it either, or maybe you love it. Isn't that intriguing? So, hey, the poet, hey, kids. I'm going to, before we get started, of course, I'm going to do some housekeeping stuff, but I do want to show the official Slasher Fest popcorn promo yet again, in preparation for me actually putting these on my shop site. So just bear with me if you've seen this. If you're raring to see it again, you're going to get a chance to. So here we go.
Soon to the Deadites on Deck Horror Shop. Official slasher fest popcorn in terrifying flavors to make you scream. Carve you like a pumpkin. Crystal Lake Caramel Crunch. Killer Clown's Cotton Candy Cocoons. Kruger's Triple Chocolate Threat. Michael's Trick or Treat. And Sawyer Family Chainsaw Cherry Bloodbath. Only available at deaditesondeck.com. Buy a bag now if you dare.
All right. So I hope y'all didn't mind me showing that again. So what do we got coming up for the rest of the week, just as a reminder? So tomorrow night we have a They're All Messed Up, talking about House on Straw Hill and haunts. Friday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be Evil Dead Chicks Be My Deadly Valentine Slumber Party. We're going to be watching Schizoid. Valentine's Day night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be My Bloody Valentine. So be sure to bring your moose head, which is what I'll be drinking that night. I drink it usually once a year around this time, in honor of one of the best slasher films of the 80s, in my opinion, My Bloody Valentine, the original, directed by George Mahalka. We've got a Cannibal Holocaust watch along a little bit later in the month, on the 28th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for, like I said, Cannibal Holocaust. I've had to reschedule it a couple of times, so hopefully people are still wanting to watch it. And feel free to either watch the animal cruelty free version or not. It's up to you. I probably will be watching the animal cruelty free version because I've seen the full version, and yeah, I don't need to see them cut up a turtle and all that stuff for, for this watch along. But if you want to watch it that way, you are free to watch it that way that night. I'm also going to have another My Path to Becoming a Positive Renegade. I don't have that up just yet, but we're going to be talking about banishing the green-eyed monster, and I think everybody knows what that is. Plus, hopefully this next week, we will be having all the programs you've come to know and love over the time that I've been doing the channel and changing things up and all that stuff. A kid used to say Cannibal Holocaust is the movie that stopped friends from coming to my house back in high school. You say, yeah, I didn't need to see the turtle thing either. The Poet, you say, I know it gets hate, but I like the 3D version of My Bloody Valentine. I don't mind the 3D version of it, but my heart lies with the original My Bloody Valentine. I didn't even mind the remake, even without the 3D. But, oh, goodness. I've been sneezing like crazy. So before we get started with the movies for tonight, which I think I've got 12 movies tonight to talk about, most of them from 1972. But I just want to remind I cannot talk tonight. Remind everybody that there are several different ways to support me and the channel, and they won't cost you a dime. One of the ways is by subscribing to my channel. There's never a bad time to not only subscribe to my channel, but subscribe to anybody else's channel that you've been enjoying the content that they're putting out. I'm not going to try to, I'm not going to look up your address on Google. I'm not going to try to come to your house and knock on your door and try to minister to you or sell you cookies and candy bars. I don't do that. Basically, I look at the numbers. So you don't have to worry about that. And once you hit the subscribe button, here's something else you can do. You can hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content I've got coming out. Then you can hit the like button on stuff that you especially enjoy. And heck, if you like it all, hit that like button all across the board. You can also share my channel by sharing a video or a stream that I've done recently that you really enjoyed, or maybe not too recently, and tag my channel in it at Deadites on Deck. And Kit's brought this one up, and again, I want to thank Kit's for bringing that option up. But you can also just let people know about my channel at Deadites on Deck. And you can share with friends and family members that you think might enjoy the content I'm putting out. And all of these things won't cost you a dime, won't cost anybody you tell about the channel a dime. And they really help support me and the channel and get me up into the algorithms of YouTube. That is a thing, folks. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with these movies. So the first one I want to talk about is Cannibal Man from 1972. Yeah, I watched this one a while back in preparation, probably for They're All Messed Up or something like that, one of those streams. But folks, I was expecting a lot more from this movie than what I actually got. I think this may have been on the Video Nasties list. I can't remember if it was one that was prosecuted or not. But it's listed on IMDb as a psychological thriller, crime, drama, horror, and thriller. You can watch it on the Fossil map if you choose to do so. So basically what you have is a meat factory worker. He accidentally kills a taxi driver, and then he starts killing people close to him in order to cover up for the original crime. He starts getting rid of the mounting corpses stored in his bedroom through his day job. So, I mean, that's basic plot, but folks, there's not really a lot to this movie. I thought it was slow. Didn't have as much blood as I was expecting. And I just found it sort of dry, and slow, which is not a really good combination for me. Was it bloodless? No. It wasn't completely bloodless. It just didn't have enough to keep me going, to keep me energized, right? Kitchi said, I think I watched this movie once a long time ago. I agree, expecting more. And Kitchi also said, I think this is the one where it's not even about cannibalism, huh? I believe so. There, you've got this great title, Cannibal Man, and you're thinking, oh, wow, this is going to be like the cannibal movies that I've seen before. And you just don't get it. There's literally not enough meat in this movie, if I can play around with words there. Kitchi said, I think the alternate title was The Week of the Killer because I remember looking it up. That could be so. I'm not sure, kids, but I believe you. So it's very confusing. They use Cannibal Man because the guy is a killer, but he doesn't eat them. I think there may be a scene where he actually concocts something to feed to other people, but it's still not, it's not what it's cracked up to be. Tom says, stay away from cannibals. All right. So, yeah, this one, yeah, I can't really, recommend this one. But like I say, if you want to try it out, it is available for free on the Fossil map. Kids, you say, I have tattoos. Cannibals wouldn't like me. Hey, Davy. Davy says cannibals have needs too, Tom. Oh, I figure Davy is from your neck of the woods or your crew, kids. Yep. Yeah, welcome, Davy. I'm glad to see you in here. I don't think you're the same Davy that used to show up in my streams. If you are, you can let me know, but I don't think so. So I'm glad to have you. I hope you keep returning. I hope I have enough interesting content to keep you returning. All right. So the next one is one that was actually filmed in the neck of the woods where I live now in Louisville, Kentucky. And that is Three on a Meat Hook, folks. Again, another fantastic title. And it was something that I always wanted to finish up, and I never, got through it all. Well, I finally got through it all, folks, and I was sorely disappointed. Yeah, not a lot going on in this movie. It drags, and really no payoff on this. With a title like Three on a Meat Hook, it should have been awesome, but it wasn't. Kids, you say, I'm on a staycation, so I told my folks to come here. Gotcha. Well, I appreciate it. I hope they enjoy coming over here. Tom says, Davey, don't invite me for dinner. Yeah, kids, I agree with you. The poster's really good. The title's really good, but the movie is literally just meh. You've heard of this one, DePoet? Yeah. Let me give you a little bit of the plot in case there are those that haven't seen it. I don't think Steve has sat through it either. It's listed as B horror, slasher horror, and horror on IMDb. So we got 4 girls that go on a weekend trip at a lake, and they have car problems on the way home. And a seemingly nice local boy takes them back to his farm where he lives with his father. Something ghastly happens, but the father helps his son as he has in the past. When the boy meets a girl and begins falling in love, the father worries about a repeat performance. This gets a 4.5 out of 10 on IMDb. I would expect it to be less. This was directed and written by William Girdler, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard of William Girdler. Sorry. But yeah, just not, again, not a lot of meat to this story. It could have been really, really good again, but it just doesn't live up to its title or the reputation. And I know a lot of William Girdler's films are not really good films, but again, I was just expecting so much more. Davey, you say you don't think you've ever seen this one. Well, you could watch it, Davey, but like I say, don't expect too much out of it. And you may be able to find this on the usual suspects like YouTube or something. I'm not seeing really where it's on the Fossil map or anything like that, but I would check the Fossil map if you have it, Tubi, YouTube. I think Steve may have had a downloaded copy. That's how I watched it. Tom, you say you think you saw it on YouTube. That's right, kids. They did. They meat hooked us with the title. Kits, you say it's a dud, like something put in the background. That you put on in the background when you're cleaning out the cages of your creepy crawlers. Exactly. Yes, definitely. That is definitely where I would have this. not something that you really want to be sitting down and focusing on or feeling like you got to focus on. So that's 3 on a meat hook. Now, the poet might be shocked at this because, again, I am a huge... Oh, I have a bunch of creepy crawlies too, Davey. And some that maybe wouldn't be considered creepy crawlies. No, it's not Barry Gillis bad, though. You are right on that, kids. But again, you know, for people that have heard me talk about Pete Walker and Pete Walker slashers, you may be surprised that I have this on this edition of Insomnia Cure, but this is the Flesh and Blood Show. Again, with a title like the Flesh and Blood Show, I was expecting more. And isn't that a great poster? I think it's a great poster of the woman getting ready to get her head cut off and the guillotine and all that. Yes, again, fantastic poster art. Tommy said, looking at these movies, I always wonder about these actors. Who were they? What became of them? I wonder a lot. Sometimes I wonder about them too. And sometimes I wonder why they were in some of these awful movies. Now, the Flesh and Blood Show is not an awful movie. It's just not the most exciting Pete Walker movie out there because not a lot happens. We're going to talk about the plot of this. So this one is available on Tubi. If you want to check it out, you can watch it for free on Tubi. So we have actors rehearsing a show at a mysterious seaside theater, and they're being killed off by an unknown maniac. That all sounds great. However, sorry, Pete Walker, I have to say it. This one is very slow moving and not a lot of spectacular kills in it. The title would lead you to believe otherwise. And this is definitely not at the top of my list when it comes to Pete Walker slashers. And the other Pete Walker film I talked about, it may have been last week, Die Screaming Mary Ann. I was mad at that because that is not a slasher film. You know, and it's not a horror, not necessarily a horror film in any sense of the word. And that is what pissed me off because that's how it was marketed. Maybe a thriller or crime movie, something like that, but definitely not a horror movie. Kids, you say, when I spoke to Gunnar Hansen of Chainsaw Massacre, he said most of them were just all college kids trying to make a buck. That's more than likely the case. Kids, you say, plot 10 out of 10, poster 10 out of 10, movie 3 out of 10. Yeah, that's about right. This came out in that weird 1970s space where they were messing with that paranoia stuff. Yeah, and this... I agree with you, kids. You know, 10 out of 10 poster, 10 out of 10 plot, but basically it's about a 3 out of 10 on the actual movie itself. Yes. Davey said, The Legend of Boggy Creek 1972 scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I thought Bigfoot was real. Oh my goodness, Davey. My husband, Steve, got me really into the Legend of Boggy Creek. I mean, I had seen it years and years ago before we were married, but after we got married, he's absolutely in love with that movie. And we've watched it together several times since then, since getting married, and I always enjoy it. But I'll tell you, the movie that the director did called The Evictors, if you have not seen that, you need to see it. Because that one, to me, was a lot scarier than The Legend of Boggy Creek. I enjoy The Legend of Boggy Creek, But the evictors, ooh, that one gets under your skin, folks. Kids, you say, I think it messed with the pacing when they started doing that paranoia stuff everywhere. Yeah, that sounds correct too, kids. I agree with you there. Oh, the man with the X-ray eyes. I think I've seen that, guys, but it's been a while. But anyway, so that's Flesh and Blood show. And the next one, I think I have this on DVD somewhere, and people might disagree with me a little bit on this one because I'm not saying that some parts of it ain't fun, but it's Frogs. If you are squeamish, stay home. Cold green skin against soft warm flesh. Croak, scream, frogs. And we got Ray Milland, Sam Elliott's in this, Joan Van Ark, Adam Rourke, Judy Pace. You got a lot of recognizable names. David, you say you love frogs. Most animal run amok films I enjoy. But there was something, again, this has a great poster of the hand coming out of the frog's mouth like it's just swallowed somebody. But I just can't find anything frightening about frogs, folks. I just can't. You could find something frightening, in my opinion, about snakes or spiders or cockroaches, even worms, but there's just something so docile about frogs. And maybe that's what it was about this movie. Tommy said, yes, the evictors. It had Vic Morrow. So horrible what happened to him. Yes, what happened to Vic Morrow and those kids was definitely a horrible, horrible thing. Dave, you say, obviously for the creepy crawlies. Kits, you say, I like the colors of these posters. Yes, this is a very good poster. I like to follow this movie under cheese. Yes. Davey, you say, I even like Night of the Lepus, giant man-eating bunnies. Now, that is one I still need to watch, Davey, is Night of the Lepus. I think I started watching it once, but didn't get all the way through it. So, Frogs is, of course, about frogs run amok. It's horror, mystery, sci-fi, thriller. So we got a group of helpless victims celebrate a birthday on an island estate crawling with killer amphibians, birds, insects, and reptiles. But all I can remember is the frogs. And man, it has Sam Elliott on it. How could you go wrong? But it is available to watch for free on Tubi if you want to check it out. And maybe this is another one that I need to go back and give it another try after I wait a while. DePoet, I have seen The Tingler. I enjoyed The Tingler very much. Tom does love us Americans. He said, I love it because it's so American. The American South. Yeah, exactly, Tom. It is a good representation of the American South. And yes, Frog said Joan Van Ark. I had a crush on her. The Tingler is a classic, Davey. I agree. And kids, I do agree that Tom is our biggest fan. When you were 10, Tom. All right, so that's Frogs. All right, so the next one, yes, I've got more Paul Naschy movies because y'all know how I feel about Paul Naschy by now. So we're going to be talking about Fury of the Wolfman with Paul Naschy. And again, I'm sorry, I am just not a huge Paul Naschy fan. I'm not even a Paul Nash fan. My husband is, but I'm not. Nothing turns me off more than watching a greasy Paul Nash rub up against these hot women in movies. I just have no, desire to see that. Yeah, you agree with me, kids. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I have another woman that thinks the same way I do about Paul Nash. It is like stranger danger. That's right. So I'll give you the plot of Fury of the Wolfman, folks, because these all start to run together, these Paul Nashy ones. I ain't even gonna lie. This only got a 3.8 out of 10. You can watch it on Fossum if you want to check it out for free. So we got a man, again, having a werewolf curse cast upon him. If he doesn't get rid of it, he turns into a killer werewolf when the moon is full. And of course, he gets to rub up against hot naked chicks. Yeah, that's about all you need to know about it. Some of you guys might enjoy that a little bit more, but Davey, you say, I love werewolf movies, but there are hits and misses. Yes, I agree with that. Can't you say at least make the Wolfman be charming and less greasy? Don't ever bring it up to Gillis. Haha. Oh boy. Okay, so that's Fury the Wolfman. The next one also has Paul Nash in it, folks. So again, it goes in the ranks of Insomnia Cure. And I just watched this with Steve here recently. So it's kind of in my mind. Horror rises from the tomb. The curse come back to haunt you. So what do we got with Horror Rises from the Tomb? Except greasy Paul Nash. Yeah. I don't want this. Was that on Kung Fu Theater? All right. Well, I'm not finding it quick on IMDb. Might be under the Spanish title. All right. So a warlock's severed head is unearthed centuries after his execution. Reanimated, it seeks to reunite with its body, wreaking havoc as a group encounters its sinister quest. Again, this could have been really good. Maybe without Paul Nash in it, folks. I don't know. Just, I'm sorry. I just was not a fan of this. It bored me, and I get tired of watching greasy Paul Nash. Yeah, look, he even looks greasy there, folks. Kid, she said, I don't think I watched this one all the way through. Well, you probably don't need to, but who am I to tell you not to? If you want to give it a try, but yeah, not my cup of tea here. Like I said, in the hands of someone else and having somebody else but Paul Nash. Why in the hell was Paul Nash in so many of these? Some of them, I think it was because he wrote and or directed them. but some of them he didn't. So I'm like, why did they keep using this guy? You can't say the poster is good enough for me to try it, huh? Yeah, that poster doesn't really do it for me either. Yeah, I think he did either write or direct or produce or something, most of these, but I think there were some that he didn't. Aha, that's the key, kids. Just because you write and direct doesn't mean you would be good enough to act in it. That's right. Tommy said, I don't know Paul Nash. I know the face. Yeah, you probably don't need to, Tom. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. You might like the stuff. I mean, like I said, Steve does, but I'll be totally honest with you folks. I think the reason why Steve likes these is because chicks are always getting naked in them. You know, he can, look past Paul Nashy and look at these naked chicks. I mean, that might be the key right there. Kids, I ain't even kidding about that, about my husband. You said this could be a trauma film. Tommy said, I love actors except for maybe Rex Harrison. He was an evil man. Kids agrees that it could be a trauma film. All right. So, oh my gosh, folks, I have a story behind this next one. But this movie is terrible, terrible, terrible in my opinion, which is Night of 1,000 Cats, folks. Okay, so now it's story time with Dana. Okay, because way back when I was a youngin', but a youngin' that was making some money, and I think I thought I was getting one thing. I won off an auction and I got this movie. This movie is, it is so awfully bad and boring. And, it may have been at first that I was pissed off that I didn't get the other movie. But yeah, I mean, and I don't hate cats or anything. And I would think that cats could be scary, but nothing happens in this movie. Except the guy flies around in a helicopter and you got these cats every once in a while going, and these women screaming around. But nothing really happens. Kid, she said, I just don't know what's scary about a house cat. Yeah, exactly. Even if there are 1,000 of them, which I don't think there were in this movie. I mean, I think again that this had a good premise, but it just doesn't, pay off. It only gets a 3.9 on IMDb, folks, but you can watch it on the Fossil map if you want to, or Tubi if you want to watch it for free. So we've got a wealthy playboy who kidnaps and murders young women, feeding their corpses to his horde of felines. It sounds more interesting than it is, folks, but don't be fooled by that, okay? This is directed by Rene Cardona Jr., and Steve's man, Hugo Stiglitz, is in this. In fact, I think he's the guy that plays the playboy. But yeah, all I can remember is Hugo Stiglitz, I think, flying around in a helicopter and these kind of hot chicks screaming and there's cats around. That's all I can, Cats are smart and dogs too, Tom. Tom says the only thing scary about a house cat is they're smarter than you. Hey, Stephen. A kid, she said, this movie is just like listening to a cat mating ritual, if I'm honest. Yeah, Exactly. If it was Night of a Thousand Tigers, maybe. 3 is pretty generous. I agree with that. I would probably give it a 2 or a 1 if I was rating it. Davey said the cat and pet cemetery scares me, and I love cats. Yeah, now if you're talking about church, but these cats ain't no church. Maybe if they were a Night of a Thousand Churches from Pet Cemetery, maybe it would be one thing, but no. And of course, this was before Stephen King had even written Pet Cemetery, so yeah, he wouldn't be caught dead in this film. But anyway, that's Night of a Thousand Cats. The next one I watched recently, maybe for They're All Messed Up, but I can't say that I was impressed with it per se, which is Tower of Evil. Again, just not enough meat in this movie to keep me interested, literally. It says a night of pleasure becomes a night of terror. And I really wasn't interested in all this drama that these people had in this movie. That was not enough to keep me interested either. So it gets a 5.6. I don't know if I'd give it that much. So we have a group of experienced archaeologists. How these people were archaeologists, I don't know. They acted like they were dumb as a box of rocks and was only interested in getting into each other's pants and everybody having affairs and all that stuff. It was a mess. So a group of experienced archaeologists are searching for an old and mystic Phoenician treasure when they are surprised by a series of mysterious murders. There may have been one kill that was okay, kind of decent in this movie. But again, not enough meat to keep this carnivore interested. I'll just say that. Tom says, nice poster. Kitschy, so this is one that's like a Lifetime movie. Too much like, where is the evil exactly? You say I'd give it 2.5 potatoes if I'm honest. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Not a whole lot more I can say about Tower of Evil, folks. If I don't really see it where you can watch it for free, but you could try The Usual Suspects anyway, just to see if it's on there, just in case you won't watch that one. Messiah of Evil from 1973. I love that movie. Steve loves that movie too. Davey, you say we need to talk about Blackula. Love that cheese, and maybe I will talk about that one at some point. The Tower of Evil does sound like a roller coaster, the poet. Stephen, you say, my cat Junior is just a year old. He skulls around often when he's bored. He's better than the Night of a Thousand Cats. But anyway, moving on to the last one for 1972. And I watched this one recently as well. But wasn't too fond of it, folks. It had a better premise than I actually got. And that was Dear Dead Delilah. That's an interesting poster on there. You pay for the whole seat, you only use the edge. And of course, that was trying to make you think that if you went to see this at the movies, you were going to be terrified. Puts terror into a new dimension, which probably means that at one time this was in 3D. And Will Geer And if anybody doesn't know who Will Geary is, he played Grandpa Walton on the Waltons. But he was in this. I think he plays an attorney on this. Kids, you say, oh, yes, I was so disappointed in this one because I like Moorhead. Yeah, I mean, again, this one had something that seemed like it could have been a really good slasher movie. And it just does not live up to it. So, a sickly matriarch of a dysfunctional family living in an old southern mansion teases her siblings about finding a long lost treasure hidden in the premises. Little did she know that there is someone ready to kill to get their hands on it. And if I am remembering correctly, Delilah, I believe, well, maybe it's not Delilah, but it's, no, I guess maybe Delilah was the, okay, Letty. Letty is the one who is sent away to an asylum, and then she gets let out, and you wonder if she's doing the killing, is somebody else doing the killing. But yeah, it could have been a lot better than it actually was. Again, I just didn't feel like there was a payoff with this one. Stephen, Dear Dead Delilah came out in 1972. Kids, you say, but again, you can have decent actors, but they are ultimately hired to play the part for the paycheck. Exactly. If the writing sucks and the director sucks, only so much they can do. Yep. Tommy said William Castle started all this, pretty much. And sometimes the stuff with William Castle paid off, and sometimes it didn't. More publicity stunts. Yes. Yes, exactly. All right. So that's Dear Dead Delilah. Now we're moving into 1973, folks, and I've got 3 more to cover. And here's the one that's going to start a bunch of controversy, I know, but a little controversy never hurt anybody, I don't think, or any channel. But some of you guys and gals out there might be shocked that I have this one on there. And folks, that's The Wicker Man. I cannot stand this movie. It's got Christopher Lee in it, and I still can't stand the movie. I find it boring. I don't understand what the allure is of this movie. I watched this movie recently after hearing about this for years, about how great this movie is and how scary it is. What? I don't get it. I do not get it. Kids, I couldn't even give it a 4. I'd probably give it a 1 or a 2. I can't stand it that badly. And maybe because it's considered folk horror, I'm not a huge fan of folk horror. But this damn movie was hyped up so much to me over the years. So I finally watched it, and I'm like, this is what this movie is. I was complaining to Steve the whole time I was watching. I was like, what is this? I managed to get all the way through it, but it bored me to tears. DePoe, you say I like the Last House, or not Last House, House on Haunted Hill remake. Yeah, that's not bad. Kids, you say you don't like this poster. It's not one of my favorites for sure. I give it a 4 myself. Davey, you say I don't like any version of the Wicker Man. Well, at least there are some people that don't like this original one too. Tom, you love it. Well, that's okay, Tom. Davey, you say but Nick Cage in the new one was priceless. Kids, you said the hair choices for Lee in this one were special. The clothing choices for Christopher Lee were special too. I was like, what in the heck? Why is Christopher Lee running around in a dress in this? I mean, it was the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life. Kids, you say I'm not a big folk horror fan either myself, but I've seen worse folk horror than this one, so NC4. Well, that's fine, kids. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You say, oh yeah, it was like an acid trip. And in case you don't know what The Wicker Man is about, I will attempt to describe this thing. This thing gets a 7.5 out of 10, which in my eyes is way too high on IMDb. So we've got a Puritan police sergeant arrives in a Scottish island village in search of a missing girl who the pagan locals claim never existed. And that's about it. Listed as folk horror, supernatural horror, horror, mystery, and thriller. It is available to watch for free on the Fossil app or Tubi if you feel so inclined to check this movie out. Tom, you say it's film fantastic. It's reality, but not reality. And Kit says, people forget how giant Lee was. So having him in these weird outfits was just mind-boggling to me. Davey, you say, no, I enjoyed acid trips, not Wicker Man. I don't know. I'd hate to see what would happen if somebody watched this on acid. But yeah. I'm probably going to get a lot of people hating on this stream because of their love of the Wicker Man. But anyway, I could go on and on, but I digress about that. All right. So you say, nah, no hate. Be boring if we all loved everything. And you're right, kids, but some people are so passionate about certain movies that if you say they're not great, they'll go hating on your video or your stream. Hey, kids, you said we aren't a cult, or are we? Yeah, sometimes I wonder. So here's another one that my husband Steve absolutely loves, and I can't stand. Again, great poster art, great title, but really, this is a mixture of, it may have a couple of good kills in it. I ain't gonna lie about that. But for the most part, it's boring. Following Susie Kendall around after she's hurt her ankle for an enormous amount of time in this movie. Or you get to sit around watching this chick have her breast fondled by two different guys that I don't know where they're at. And then running through the woods with her boobies hanging out for what seems like an elongated time, with the killer following close behind her before he kills her. Not a good movie does this make for me. I find it dull, boring, with maybe at best a couple of good kills put in it. But yes, not a good film in my opinion. Kids, you say those people need to chill out because that's just weird to be that hell-bent. Yes, it is, but unfortunately there are several people, more people than I would like to say, that are like that. Yeah, I love the poster. The poster is awesome. Movie, not so much. Yes, the pacing, again, is very, very bad in this, kids. I'm glad there's somebody else that can see that in some of these movies. You said this one was kind of like a weird adult film. Exactly. You know, you got girl on girl action. You've got You know, that chick that's getting her breast fondled by two guys. Yeah, I agree with that. They just labeled it as hard to get it out there. And they knew if they put a bunch of naked chicks in it, even if it was lesbian chicks, that guys are going to fall all over this. Because my husband loves this film. And I've tried numerous times to watch Torso, and I feel the same way about it every time. And, you know, some people have said in the past that I don't like nice looking women. Hey, I have no problem with attractive women. In fact, I'm glad that they're attractive. But having a bunch of naked chicks running around with their boobs flopping for 10 minutes or so before they get killed, I'm sorry, that just doesn't make a good horror movie for me. Okay? And, you know, if there's even women that enjoy it, I don't mind. But it's just not the movie for me. All right, so I'll quit harping on Torso. So it's like Casey. Possibly, Tom. All right. So the last one I want to talk about, again, I had high hopes for this one, folks. So much that I blind bought it. And that one is A Bell from Hell. Okay. This one had an awesome premise behind it, if you read the plot synopsis for it. But I'll tell you what you got. You got lied to, folks. And it says Vivica Linford's on this, and I love her. But even she couldn't save this movie. So it's listed as a Spanish giallo, psychological thriller, horror and thriller. It gets a 5.7 out of 10. I beg to differ on IMDb. You can watch this on the Fossil Map or Tubi for free if you wanted to try checking it out. So after being falsely accused of being insane and put in an asylum, so his wicked aunt and her daughters could steal his money, a recently released young man returns to seek the ultimate revenge against them. Folks, there's really no revenge in this. And I believe the back of my DVD went on to say that a man ripped somebody's eyeballs out. He doesn't rip anybody's eyeballs out in the film. It's a prank. He has animal eyeballs or something, makes it look like he pulled his own eyeballs out. And it makes his cousin scream or whatever. But it's like, that's just false advertising. False advertising all over the place. Yeah, the poster is a little busy, or the DVD cover or whatever. But the plot sounds great. The plot does sound great, but I was very angry and disappointed. So that's where AC/DC got Hell's Bells. Tommy said, I don't know this movie, but I like the movie title. Yeah, the movie title is great. But something else, a little warning, something else that you will get at the beginning of this film is real slaughterhouse footage, folks. And that was horrifying, but I don't want to see that again. I want to see fake horrifying. I don't want to see innocent animals being slaughtered at the beginning of a horror movie. Kitchi said, I think I only got into the movie like 10 minutes. Then got bored or distracted by something shiny. Yeah, I wish I had something to get me distracted from this movie. So, needless to say, I maybe watched this movie a total of 2 times, and I really, at this point in time, don't have any interest in seeing it again. So, sorry, that's my reminder going off. So, gang, that is my list of Insomnia Cure horror films for 1972 and 73. I hope you guys and gals have enjoyed this edition of Insomnia Cure. But I guess that's it for me for tonight. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday night, folks. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for They're All Messed Up, where I'll be talking about House on Straw Hill and Haunts. You have a great night too, kids. Thanks for saying it was fun, Davey. Thanks for popping by, Davey. I'll probably be at Gil's channel later. But thank you guys and gals for all, joining in. These Insomnia Cures seem to be entertaining for people. So I hope to be able to do them for some time to come, or for as long as the people show interest in them. So Kits and Davey, the poet, Tom, Stephen, thank you guys and gals for showing up tonight, keeping me company in the chat, and hopefully I haven't missed anybody. We had a very active chat in here tonight, so Gil's is your other co-host. Yeah, sure, bring him in anytime. He went to school for film. Oh, that's awesome too. But we've also got the slumber party coming up, where we're going to be watching Schizoid on Friday, which is also Friday the 13th, folks. Valentine's Day night will be the My Bloody Valentine watch along. So we got a whole bunch of stuff still lined up. We're going into the weekend, and the fun ain't going to stop. And plus, we've got another My Path to Becoming a Positive Renegade coming up on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And hopefully next week I'll have lots more interesting, hopefully, programming for you guys and gals. I'm glad you had a fun time, Tom. Kids, you say, I will be here since I'm on staycation. I get to catch up on other creators. There you go. And I'm always glad to see you in here, kids. You've been a nice addition to my regulars. So again, I'm out of here for the night, folks. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys and gals. And even the people that will have to watch this on the replay, or if you were in here watching and you either didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat, or maybe you were watching this stream on a device where you were not able to chat at the same time, like a smart TV. I don't care how or when you watch. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see everybody next time.